What if the person who raised you, the one who tucked you in at night, packed your school lunches, and told you to chase your dreams, was the same person who stole them from you? This is the story of Elena, an 18-year-old girl with straight A's, a college acceptance almost guaranteed, and a future she worked her entire life for. But the moment that rejection letter came in, her world didn't just fall apart, it shattered. And what she found next was something no daughter should ever have to discover. A secret so deep, it didn't just ruin trust. It questioned everything: identity, loyalty, and the meaning of family itself. If you think this is just another sad story about betrayal, think again. Because this isn't about giving up. It's about how far someone will go to rebuild after everything's been taken from them. Stick around. You're not going to want to miss a single second of what happens next. And if you enjoy stories that grip your heart and mess with your mind, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Your support means the world to us. Elena stared at her laptop screen like it had just slapped her in the face. "We regret to inform you." The words hit harder than she expected. She had imagined this moment 1,000 times, but never like this. Not with her dream crushed in one cold paragraph. Not from Briarwood University. She blinked. Once. Twice. The words did not change. "No," she whispered. "No, no, no, no. This is wrong." Her heartbeat was loud. Too loud. Like her chest was trying to warn her something was off. Her fingers trembled as she scrolled down, hoping, begging for a mistake. But there was no mistake. Just rejection. Briarwood had said no. She slammed the laptop shut and pushed it away like it was contagious. This was not supposed to happen. She had a perfect GPA. Her essays were personal, raw, edited until her eyes bled. She had poured everything into that application. Every late-night study session, every missed party, every part-time job shift to cover application fees. Her mom's voice echoed in her head from last month. "College is expensive, Elena. You better not screw this up." She had not. She knew she had not. "Elena?" Her mom's voice floated in from the kitchen. "Did you hear back yet?" Elena hesitated. "Yeah," she said flatly. There was silence. Then footsteps. Her mom appeared in the doorway, drying her hands with a dish towel. "Well," she asked. Elena swallowed hard. "They rejected me." Her mom froze. "Briarwood?" she asked, voice sharp. Elena nodded. Her mom's eyes narrowed, like the rejection was Elena's fault. "I told you not to get your hopes up. That school is for top-tier kids." "I am top-tier," Elena snapped before she could stop herself. Her mom raised an eyebrow. "Clearly not." The words cut deeper than the email. Elena stood up. Her legs felt like paper. "I need air," she muttered and grabbed her jacket. She walked out the door without waiting for a response. Outside, the sky was too blue. Too normal. The world had not stopped just because hers had collapsed. She sat on the porch steps, pulled her phone out, and opened her Briarwood folder. Everything was there. Her essay. Her transcript. Her letter of recommendation from Mrs. Hartley. Everything. She opened the application submission form and scrolled through it line by line. No errors. No missing files. Nothing that could explain what went wrong. Then she remembered the payment. The application fee. It had been sent using her college savings account, the one her dad left for her before he passed. She opened her banking app and tapped through to her education fund. Balance: $0.13. Elena froze. She blinked. Checked again. 0.13. Her breath caught in her throat. That account had over $80,000 last year. She had checked it. More than once. Her eyes darted to the transaction history. She scrolled down. 6 months ago, there was a withdrawal. $78,000. Marked as a check. No recipient name. No memo. Just gone. Her heart was racing now. She kept scrolling. Another withdrawal. Smaller. $12,000. Marked as transfer to personal. Her chest tightened. She clicked back to the home screen. Her mom's name was still listed as joint holder on the account. From when Elena was a minor. The realization hit her like ice down her spine. Her mom had access. Her mom had taken the money. Elena stared at the screen, numb. Everything she worked for. Everything her dad saved.
Gone.
For what? She went back inside. Her mom was folding laundry like it was just another Tuesday. Elena walked straight up to her and held out her phone. "What is this?" she demanded. Her mom glanced at the screen and then at Elena's face. "Oh," she said, casual.
That.
"You drained my college fund," Elena said, her voice shaking. "You took everything." "I needed a car, Elena." Elena stared at her. "You bought a luxury car with my future. Do not be dramatic." "You lied to me." Her mom folded a shirt calmly. "I raised you. I fed you. I kept this house running. That money was part mine."
No.
"It was not," Elena said. "It was his. And it was meant for me." Her mom's face changed. A flicker of something darker passed through her eyes. "Well," she said coldly, "maybe if you were smart enough to get into that college, we would not be having this conversation." Elena stepped back, stunned. Her mom returned to folding laundry. "Stop crying," she said. "You still have a roof over your head." Elena turned and walked out again. This time, she kept walking. Down the street. Past the old mailbox her dad used to paint every spring. Past the ice cream shop they went to when she got straight A's. Past the life she thought she had. Her phone buzzed in her hand. A message from her aunt. "Heard you gave up on college. That is disappointing. Your mom says you are wasting your time." Elena read it once. Then deleted it. The sun was setting. The sky burned orange like it was angry too. She had lost Briarwood. But somehow, she knew this was not the end. It was only the beginning. Elena did not sleep that night. She lay on her back, staring at the ceiling, her mind racing in circles she could not escape. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the number, $78,000.
Gone.
Cashed out. By her mother. She replayed the argument over and over. Her mom's voice, sharp and cold. The way she said, "That money was part mine." Like it was nothing. Like Elena's future was some spare change she picked up off the street. By sunrise, Elena was exhausted and hollow. But there was one thing she needed to know. She opened the old filing cabinet in the hallway. It still smelled like her dad's cologne. Like leather and pine. She dug through papers, old bills, expired warranties. And then she found it. A yellow envelope. Labeled, College Fund. Her fingers trembled as she pulled it out. Inside were printed statements from years ago. Back when her dad was still alive. Back when things made sense. The fund had started as $10,000. He added to it every year. Tax returns, bonus checks, birthday money. He even sold his old guitar to make the final deposit before he passed. Elena's throat tightened. She flipped through the pages. The balance had reached almost $90,000 before it suddenly dropped. All at once. 6 months ago. She reached the final page and froze. There it was. A bank-issued check. Amount: $78,000. Payee: Glendale Luxury Motors. Authorized by Janice Thompson. Her mother's name. In printed ink. It felt like getting punched in the stomach all over again. She sat down hard on the carpet, clutching the paper in both hands. This was not just a car. This was not just money. This was trust. This was everything her dad had worked for. Everything Elena believed in. Burned. She needed answers. Real ones. When her mom left for work that morning, Elena waited 10 minutes. Then she went to the garage. The car was there.
Sleek. Shiny. New.
She opened the glove box. Inside, beneath some receipts and a pack of mints, was the dealership folder. She opened it. A full sales record. Price tag circled in red ink. And a business card clipped to the back. David Morrell. Sales consultant. Glendale Luxury Motors. She stared at the name, then picked up her phone. 2 hours later, she stood in front of a glass building that smelled like polished money. Cars lined the showroom like royalty. None of them belonged to someone working 2 minimum wage jobs. She found the desk labeled David. He was tall, well-dressed, early 40s. Smile too perfect to trust. "Hi," Elena said. "I am Janice Thompson's daughter. She bought a car from you 6 months ago." His smile flickered, but returned quickly. "Oh yes, I remember her. Gorgeous red coupe, right?" Elena forced a nod. "I just have a few questions, if that is all right." He leaned forward. "Of course. Everything okay?" Elena swallowed. "I just wanted to confirm, did she pay for the car in cash?" David blinked. "Cash." He chuckled.
No.
"She used a cashier's check. Direct from a trust fund, if I remember right. That part was unusual. Most people just finance." A trust fund. Elena felt like screaming. Did she say anything about what the money was for? Or why she wanted the car? David gave a slow, uncomfortable shrug. Honestly, it was strange. She was jittery, like she wanted to close the deal fast. Kept checking her phone. Even asked if we shred records after purchase. Elena's stomach turned. "Shred records?" He nodded. "I told her we legally could not." She looked nervous. Almost panicked. Asked about privacy laws. I thought maybe she was hiding the car from someone. Divorce, maybe? Elena's hands were ice. "No. No divorce." David paused. "I hope everything is all right." Elena nodded, even though nothing was all right. She thanked him and left. Outside, she stood in the parking lot with the sun burning down on her, clutching the folder like it might fly away.
She knew it now.
This was not just a selfish decision. This was deliberate. Her mother had not just used the money. She had covered her tracks. The lie ran deeper than she thought. She walked home in silence. The sidewalks blurred beneath her feet. Her head buzzed like static. When she got back, her mother was home early. In the kitchen, calmly slicing apples. Elena dropped the folder on the table. Her mom turned. "What is that?" "You know what it is." Her mom looked down and smiled, thin and tired. "You went digging. I went looking for the truth. Truth is not always what you want it to be." Elena's voice rose. "You stole from me. You lied to me. You ruined my life so you could drive to work with heated seats." Her mother's jaw clenched. "I did what I had to do." "No," Elena said. "You did what you wanted to do. And now you are trying to make me look like the failure." Her mom wiped her hands on a towel. "People believe what they want. I told your aunt you were not ready for college. And, honestly, you are proving me right." Elena stared at her. "You are not even sorry." "I regret nothing," her mom said. "That car saved me. It gave me power again." Elena shook her head. "You did not need power. You needed to be a mother." Her mother turned away. "You have no idea what I gave up for you." Elena felt her chest caving in. "And now I know exactly what you took." She walked out, the door slamming behind her. And this time, she did not cry. She could not. Not anymore. Elena thought the silence would bring her peace. But it did not. The house was quiet that night, too quiet. No music. No television. Just the soft hum of the refrigerator and the sound of her own breathing. She sat on her bed, legs crossed, eyes fixed on the glowing screen of her laptop. She had been searching for scholarships, community colleges, trade schools. Anything. But every page reminded her of what she lost. Not just money.
Trust. Direction.
Belonging. Downstairs, she heard the click of heels on hardwood. Her mother was pacing again. Elena turned off the laptop and pressed her ear to the door. Silence. Then came the voice. Muffled, but sharp. Her mother was on the phone. "Do not worry," she whispered. "She does not know anything yet." A pause. "She found the bank statements, yes. But not the rest." Another pause. Longer this time. "I told you this would happen. If she starts digging." Her voice dropped even lower. "Then we are finished." Elena's heart dropped. She stepped back from the door. Finished. That word echoed in her chest. What did it mean? Finished how? Who was her mother talking to? She crept to the top of the stairs. The lights downstairs were dim. Her mother stood in the kitchen, back turned, one hand gripping the counter, the other holding her phone tight to her ear. "I told you to shred everything," her mother said. "Why did you keep it?" More silence. "Because if she ever finds out what that money was really for, this whole thing blows up." Elena stepped back, too fast. The floor creaked. Her mother turned. "Elena?" Elena forced her voice to sound normal. "Just getting water." Her mom stared for a second too long, then smiled. "Long day, huh?" Elena nodded. Her mother poured herself wine. "Listen," she said casually, "I was thinking we should have a girls' day soon.
Go shopping.
Take your mind off things." Elena bit back a laugh. "You want to buy my silence now?" Her mom sipped the wine. "I want to move on. You moved on the moment Dad died." Her mother's face turned cold. "You do not get to throw that in my face." "No," Elena said, voice shaking. "You took the money he left for me. You took my chance at college. You lied to my face. And now you are making me look like I gave up." Her mother set the wine glass down hard. "You are being dramatic." "No," Elena said. "You are being a liar." There was a long, brutal pause. Then her mother said, flat and calm, "You are never going to make it there anyway." Elena blinked. "What?" "You heard me. You really think I am not smart enough? I think you wanted it so badly, you did not see the truth. You are not special, Elena. You are average. That school would have eaten you alive." Elena's throat closed. She had never hated someone more in her life. "You could have told me that before stealing my future." Her mom grabbed her wine again. "I earned that car. I deserved something for once." Elena stared at her. "For once," she whispered. "You had me." Her mom laughed under her breath. "That was never part of the plan." That sentence landed like a slap. Elena stepped back. "What did you just say?" Her mother did not answer, just turned and walked away. Elena stood frozen in the hallway, heart pounding so hard she thought it might break through her chest.
She had no idea what that meant.
But she knew one thing for sure. There was more. And whatever it was, her mother would do anything to keep it buried. Elena did not pack much when she left. Just a duffel bag, her laptop, and a handful of clothes. No goodbye. No yelling. No tears. Just silence. And a front door that quietly clicked shut behind her like it was relieved she was gone. Her mother did not stop her. She moved in with a friend from high school, Jenna, who had a cramped apartment above a laundromat and a futon that smelled like old detergent. It was not much, but it was better than staying in a house where love came with a price tag. By the end of the week, Elena had 2 jobs. Day shifts as a cashier at Marty's grocery. Night shifts waiting tables at Dee's diner off the highway. She worked 13-hour days with no breaks, burned feet, and sore cheeks from forcing smiles. She was 18. Tired, angry, and completely alone. Her phone buzzed every other day with messages from relatives. "Your mom says you are refusing college. We are worried. You need to stop being so stubborn. You should apologize to her." No one asked why she left. No one asked what really happened. Her mother was rewriting the story, and everyone was buying it. At Marty's, she scanned groceries and avoided small talk. At Dee's, she poured coffee for truckers and smiled through unwanted comments. Her hands were always sticky, her feet always sore, her eyes always red. But she kept going, because it was better than staying home and pretending things were normal. One night, just past 10, she was refilling the napkin dispensers at the diner when a man walked in. Late 60s maybe. Worn coat. Soft eyes. He sat at the counter and ordered black coffee and eggs. No toast. He watched her for a while. Not in a creepy way. In a thoughtful way. "You Elena?" he asked finally. She stiffened. "Do I know you?" "No," he said. "But I knew your dad." Her hands froze. "What?" He nodded. "Back in the day. I worked with him. Construction. We built decks and sunrooms.
Good guy.
Quiet. Always humming some old song." Elena swallowed hard. Most people do not even remember him. The man smiled. I remember. He talked about you a lot. Always carried a picture of a baby girl in his wallet. Elena blinked. She had not heard anyone talk about her dad in years. Not like this. I did not know he had coworkers, she said. Your mom never mentioned me, the man said. I am not surprised. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out something small. A photograph. Worn edges. Faded colors. He slid it across the counter. Elena picked it up. It was her dad. Younger, maybe mid-20s. Smiling. Standing next to a woman Elena had never seen before. The woman was not her mother. Who is she? Elena asked, her voice a whisper. The man leaned back. Someone important, he said. But not someone your mother liked. Elena stared at the photo. Her dad's arm was around the woman's shoulders. They looked happy.
Close. Real.
Why are you showing me this? Because he wanted you to know one day. I kept it after he passed. Thought maybe I would run into you someday. Then I saw you here last week. Took me a few days to get the courage. Elena looked up at him. Why would my mother hide this? The man gave a soft, tired sigh. Your dad had a lot of love to give. But not all of it went where your mom wanted it to. Elena's throat tightened. Are you saying he cheated?
No, he said.
I am saying your mother is not the whole story. He stood. Keep the photo. And if you ever want the truth, look past what you were told. He paid for his coffee in cash and left a tip twice the size of the bill. Elena stood there, staring at the photo long after he walked out into the night. Her shift ended an hour later, but she did not feel like going home. She sat in the break room, staring at her dad's smile, at the woman beside him.
Who was she?
Why did no one ever mention her? Why had her mother erased everything except what suited her? Something deep in her chest stirred, a feeling she had not let herself feel in days. Not anger, not grief.
Curiosity.
And that was the most dangerous emotion of all. Elena stared at the name written on the back of the photo, like it was a code waiting to be cracked. Clara Devine. It was written in her father's handwriting. Sharp.
Clean. Certain.
She typed the name into her laptop that night. No social media. No recent articles. But after digging deeper, she found something. A faculty page from a small private university 2 states away. Clara Devine. Associate professor.
Law and ethics.
There was a headshot. Elena froze. It was her. The woman in the photo. Older now. But the eyes, the smile, there was no doubt. Her hands trembled as she dialed the number listed under the office contact. A voicemail answered. This is Professor Devine. Please leave your name and a message. Elena swallowed hard.
Hi.
My name is Elena Thompson. I think you knew my dad. Michael Thompson. I found an old photo.
You were in it.
I have questions. She hung up and waited. Days passed. Work blurred together. She burned her hand on the coffee pot at the diner. Cried in the bathroom stall at Marty's. Still, nothing from Clara. Until the 4th day. Her phone buzzed during a short break. Unknown number. She answered, heart racing. Hello. A woman's voice.
Come. Low.
Is this Elena? Yes. This is Clara Devine. Elena stood up from the bench. I did not think you would call. I almost did not, Clara said. But I recognized the name. Michael's daughter. You sound older now. You knew me? A pause. Yes, Clara said. A long time ago. Elena felt like the ground was shifting beneath her. Can I see you? She asked. Another pause. I think we both deserve that, Clara said. They met 2 days later at a coffee shop just off the highway. Clara wore a gray sweater. No makeup, no jewelry. Her presence was quiet, but strong. Elena sat across from her, fingers gripping her coffee cup too tightly. Clara studied her gently. You look like him, she said. Elena blinked. No one ever says that. Well, they should. Elena pulled the photo from her jacket pocket and laid it on the table. Why did I find this in the hands of a stranger? Not my mother? Clara looked down at the photo. For a long time, she said nothing. Finally, she spoke. I was going to marry your father, she said. We were together for 5 years. He proposed in that summer. Elena's voice cracked. But he married someone else. No, Clara said softly. He never did. Elena frowned. But my mom. Clara held up a hand. I know who she is. Janice. She was around toward the end. But your father and I were still engaged when everything changed. What happened? Clara looked down, hands folded. We had a fight. Something small. He went to clear his head. A road trip. That was the last time I saw him. Days later, I got a call from Janice saying he was gone. That he had died. Elena stared at her. You never came to the funeral? There was no funeral. Not for me. I was told it was private. Family only. Elena felt her chest tighten. Why would she lie about that? Clara's voice dropped. I do not know, but I begged her for answers. She said it was none of my business. That he had moved on. Elena's hands shook. I grew up thinking he was married to her. That I was their child. Clara nodded slowly. I always wondered. I never knew for sure. Until now. Elena met her eyes. What do you mean? Clara reached into her purse. Pulled out a folded sheet of paper. It was a birth certificate copy. Elena's name at the top. And 2 blank spaces where the parents' names should be. I requested this years ago. I could not access the full version. But something about it felt wrong. There were sealed records. Gaps. Elena's heart pounded. Clara looked at her and said the words that shattered everything. He never had a child. At least, not with the woman you call your mother. Elena sat in silence. The world outside the window moved on. People drank coffee. Laughed. Lived. Inside, everything in her was breaking. I do not understand, she whispered. Clara reached out, her hand barely brushing Elena's. There is more to your story, Elena. And I think your mother has been keeping it from you for a very long time. Elena spit into the small plastic tube and sealed the cap with shaking hands. It felt surreal. Like this was something only people in crime shows did. Not regular girls who just wanted to go to college and live a normal life. Not someone who thought they knew who they were. But after that conversation with Clara, she had no choice. She needed proof. 2 weeks later, the results arrived in her inbox. She opened them alone, sitting on the edge of her mattress, the room dim, the air still. She scanned the summary. Words jumped off the screen. No biological match. 0% parental relationship with Janice Thompson. Her stomach dropped. She read it again. Then again. Her brain refused to absorb it. Janice was not her mother. Not just metaphorically. Not emotionally. Not biologically. The woman who raised her, criticized her, stole from her was a stranger. Elena pressed the screen against her chest and curled into herself. The silence in the room was deafening. Memories flooded in. The scraped knees. The birthday cakes. The punishments. The cold looks. The guilt trips. The lies. They were not from a mother. They were from someone playing the part. She was a prop in someone else's script. Later that night, she sat alone at the kitchen table in Jenna's apartment, still holding the printed report. She did not cry. There was nothing left in her to cry out. She was not angry. She was hollow. There was a difference. At 2 a.m, a soft thud hit the floor outside her door. Elena froze. She waited. Nothing. She opened the door cautiously. There was a plain manila envelope on the ground. No name. No markings. She brought it inside, hands tight around it. She opened it slowly. Inside was a stack of papers. Crisp. Official. The first page stopped her heart. Confidential settlement agreement. Payer, Janice Thompson. Payee, redacted. Purpose, non-disclosure. Child custody and transfer agreement. Elena blinked, her eyes moving faster now.
It was a contract.
A legal one.
Signed.
Initialed. Stamped. Her mother's signature sat in black ink at the bottom of every page. Elena flipped through. There was a date. August 16th. She was only a few months old at the time. There was another name listed, but it was redacted with thick black lines. What was not redacted was the purpose. Exchange of custody in return for financial compensation.
It was a buyout.
A payoff. A child.
Bought.
Elena's hands went ice cold. This was not just a lie. It was a transaction. She turned the final page and gasped. Attached was a hospital photo. A baby. Small. Wrapped in pink. The date matched her supposed birthday. But the name on the birth tag? Elena Devine. Not Thompson. Devine. Her real name. Her real identity. She stared at the photo for what felt like forever. Then she looked down at her phone and typed a single text to Clara. I need to see you. Tonight.
Please.
Clara responded within minutes. Come over. I will wait. Elena threw on a hoodie, grabbed the envelope, and ran out the door into the night, the cold air slicing through her like truth itself. Clara's living room was quiet when Elena arrived. The only sound was the soft ticking of an old wall clock. Clara sat by the fireplace, a blanket draped over her lap, eyes already fixed on Elena the moment she stepped inside. Elena dropped the envelope on the coffee table between them. I found this outside my door. Clara did not move. Elena opened the flap and slid out the contents. She laid the settlement papers down gently.
Your name is on it, she said.
As the legal point of contact. Clara finally looked down. Her face changed. She picked up the first page and skimmed it. Then she exhaled.
Slow.
Controlled. I was afraid this would come back. Elena leaned forward, voice shaking. Tell me everything. Clara sat still for a long moment, her eyes distant. When your father died, I was not allowed at the hospital. Janice told them I was just an ex. She handled everything. The paperwork. The burial. No one questioned it. She looked up at Elena. But I knew something was wrong. Elena said nothing. She just nodded for her to go on. A few months later, I started receiving anonymous letters. No return address. The first one had a photo of a baby girl.
You.
I knew it instantly. Clara's voice cracked. I thought you had died. I thought you were gone with him. But there you were.
Alive. Smiling.
In someone else's arms. Elena's hands gripped the edge of the couch. Clara continued. I hired a lawyer. We started pushing for answers. That is when Janice came forward. She gestured to the papers. This agreement, it was her offer. She claimed Michael had given her full guardianship before his death, that he wanted you raised by her. She said she would disappear with you forever unless I signed. Elena's voice was low. So you let her by me? Clara's eyes filled with tears. I was told I had no legal standing, no birth certificate, no DNA on file. No one would believe me. She reached for Elena's hand, but Elena pulled away. So you took the money instead? Clara shook her head. That money was not for me. That was her price. Her demand to make me disappear. Elena stared at her. Then why is your name on it? Because I made her put it there. So that if she ever broke the terms, if she ever tried to hurt you, I could step in. Elena looked down at the photo again. Her baby picture. Her real name. Her stolen identity. She felt like the air had thickened around her. Like she was breathing through fog. She told me we got into a car crash when I was 7, she said. Said she blacked out and drove off the road. Clara's face went still. What year? 2006. Clara's hands began to tremble. That was the year she disappeared. I never heard from her again after that. I thought maybe she had run. Or worse. Elena pulled out another paper from the envelope. A hospital bill. Date of admission. August 2nd, 2006. Severe head trauma. Internal bleeding. No insurance used. Paid in full.
Cash.
Clara's voice dropped to a whisper. She almost killed you. Elena stood. Her voice broke as she spoke. She always said I was a difficult child. That I asked too many questions. That I had a wild imagination. Clara rose too. You remembered something, did you not? Elena nodded slowly. I always had these flashes. A woman with a different voice. A softer touch. A lullaby I could never place. I thought I was dreaming. Clara's tears slid down her face. You were not dreaming. Elena clenched her fists. I need to know what really happened that day. In that car. I need to know why she would rather crash than let me remember. Clara looked her in the eyes. Then we dig. Together. And for the first time, Elena did not feel alone. But what they were about to uncover might just destroy them both. Elena sat in Clara's living room, her eyes locked on the small wooden box in Clara's lap. Clara opened it slowly, as if the air itself might break apart with what was inside. She lifted out a delicate silver chain, thin as thread, worn from age. Hanging from it was a small locket, oval-shaped, dented at the edge. But the letters carved into it were still clear.
E.D.
Elena's breath caught. She reached instinctively toward her own neck. Her fingers touched something cold. She looked down. She was wearing the same locket. Clara's hand trembled. I gave this to my daughter the day she was born, she whispered. Her name was Elena Devine. Elena stared at her. I have worn this since I was little. I do not even remember when it started. My mother, Janice, always said it was a gift from a nurse, that it meant nothing. Clara shook her head. It meant everything. I had it made before you were even born. My mother used to say, if you ever get lost, wear your name around your neck. So the world never forgets you. Elena's voice cracked. She tried to erase everything. Clara nodded. She did more than erase. She rewrote it. The words sat heavy between them. Elena reached across and took the locket from the box. It was warm from Clara's hands. She held it up next to hers. Identical. Clara looked like she might fall apart right there on the couch. I spent years looking for you. I went to the police. I filed reports. I put up posters in 3 states. But your name never came up. Your face never appeared in the system. It was like you were swallowed. Elena swallowed hard. She said my dad died in a car crash. Clara nodded slowly. That part is true. But it was not just an accident. It was suspicious. The brakes were cut. No one could prove anything. And then you both vanished. Elena stared at the floor. Why would she take me? Clara's voice was a whisper now. Because she could not have children. Because she hated that he chose me. Because she wanted something that would always be his. Elena blinked back tears. She made me believe I was ungrateful. That I was too emotional. Too dramatic. Every time I asked about my past, she would punish me for it. Clara looked at her with eyes full of sorrow. She built a world where she was the victim and you were the burden. A silence settled over them. A heavy, aching silence. Finally, Elena spoke. If I had never gotten that rejection letter, if I had never looked at that bank account, I would have never known. Clara nodded. She was never planning to tell you. Not ever. Elena's fingers clenched. She crashed that car on purpose. Clara's face hardened. She wanted to bury the truth. Along with you. Elena stood suddenly, the locket clutched in her hand. She is going to get away with it. She always does. People believe her. She says, I am lazy. That I threw my future away. And they believe her. Clara rose too. Not anymore. Now you have the truth. Elena turned to her, pain etched deep in her voice. What am I supposed to do with the truth? It does not fix anything. It does not give me my childhood back. It does not erase what she did. Clara stepped closer. No, it does not. But it gives you power. And a choice. Elena wiped her face with her sleeve. I want her to pay. Clara did not argue. She simply said, then let's make sure she does. Because this was no longer about a stolen college fund. This was about a stolen life. The front door was wide open. Elena stepped inside her childhood home, every nerve in her body screaming. The air was still, too still. The living room looked untouched. The couch, the photo frames, the old lamp in the corner. All exactly the same. But something was off. Too clean. Too perfect. She walked through the hallway, her footsteps soft against the wood floor. Her hand grazed the wall out of instinct. The house that once held memories now felt like a set. Hollow.
Fake.
She pushed open the door to her mother's room. Empty. The closet? Cleared out. Drawers?
Nothing.
The safe behind the mirror?
Gone.
The car keys were missing. So was the title. And every paper Elena had stored here just in case. Copies of the settlement agreement, her birth photos, the medical bill, all gone. She backed away slowly, breath uneven. On the nightstand sat her mother's phone. Face down. A single blinking light on the screen. One voicemail. Elena picked it up. Her fingers moved before her brain could stop them. She hit play. Her mother's voice came through, calm and bitter. You always wanted the truth, Elena. Now you have it. But truth will not keep you warm at night. It will not fix your heart, or give you a future. There was a pause. Then her voice hardened. You should be grateful. I gave you a life. I gave you a roof. I gave you everything your real mother was too weak to fight for. And now you want justice? Another pause. Cold air filled the space between each word. I am the only person who ever truly loved you. And if that is not enough, then maybe you deserve to be alone.
Click.
The message ended. Elena stood frozen, phone still in her hand. She wanted to scream, throw something, collapse.
But she did none of that.
She just breathed.
Slow. Shaky.
Steady. This woman, this thief of a life, this liar, this manipulator, had vanished. Taken the car, the money,
The past.
but not Elena. Not anymore. Clara arrived minutes later. Elena met her outside, holding the voicemail in her hand like it was a weapon. She is gone, Elena said. Everything is gone. Clara did not look surprised. She ran, she said quietly, because she knows what is coming. I want to go to the police, Elena said. You should. I want her to answer for what she did. Clara met her eyes.
She will.
But you need to be ready. This will not be easy. There will be questions.
Doubt.
You have to stay grounded. Elena looked back at the house. I was a stolen child, raised on lies, lied to my entire life. And when I finally found the truth, she erased every piece of it. She turned back to Clara, jaw clenched. No more silence. Clara stepped beside her. I am with you. Together, they walked back to the car. And this time, Elena was not running from the past. She was chasing it down. The knock came at 3:42 in the morning. Elena jolted upright on Clara's couch, heart racing, breath caught in her throat. Clara opened the door before Elena could move. 2 officers stood outside. We found her, one of them said. Just like that. Janice Thompson, the woman who raised her, lied to her, stole from her, had been tracked to a rundown motel 30 miles from the state line. The room was paid in cash. The car was already loaded. She was minutes away from disappearing again. But this time, she did not make it. Elena sat in the back seat of the unmarked police vehicle, staring blankly through the window as they pulled into the precinct. Her fingers clenched the locket still hanging from her neck. The real one. The only piece of truth she had always carried and never known. Clara waited outside the interrogation room. She was pale but steady. You do not have to do this, she said. Elena nodded. I do. From the other side of the glass, she watched Janice sit, hands cuffed, eyes puffy from no sleep, still trying to look composed. Like none of this mattered. Like it was all beneath her. A detective walked in and sat across from her. Janice Thompson, he began, placing a file on the table. You are being questioned in connection with identity fraud, abduction, illegal custody arrangement, financial theft, and obstruction of justice. Janice scoffed. This is ridiculous. He leaned in. We have a signed settlement agreement, a DNA test, hospital records, witness statements, your voice on a voicemail admitting to the concealment of Elena Devine's identity. Janice smiled, slow and bitter. I protected her. You exploited her. Janice shrugged. She would have ended up nothing if I had left her with that woman. The detective did not flinch. Who else was involved? Janice's eyes darkened. Excuse me? He repeated the question. Who helped you? Janice leaned back in her chair. I told you. I did what I had to do. He slid a photograph across the table. Clara. From 20 years ago. She says otherwise. Janice stared at the photo for a long moment. Then, for the first time that night, something shifted in her. Her mouth twitched. Her voice dropped. "You think Clara is innocent in all this?" she whispered. "You really think she did not know what kind of man Michael was?" The detective frowned. "What do you mean?" Janice leaned forward, eyes sharp. "You think he just died in an accident? You think I took Elena out of some twisted need to play mother?" She tapped the table slowly. "You should ask Clara about her brother." Silence. The detective froze. "What brother?" Janice smiled. Cold. Triumphant. "Ask her." Outside the room, Elena turned to Clara. "Do you have a brother?" Clara looked like the ground had been ripped from beneath her. I did. A long time ago." Elena's voice was barely a whisper. "What happened?" Clara stepped back, shook her head. "It was nothing. He died young. We were not close." But her eyes betrayed her. Elena stepped forward. "You are lying." Clara's hands trembled. "Elena, please." But Elena was already backing away. Janice's words echoed in her head. "You should ask Clara about her brother." The betrayal twisted all over again. Another truth buried. Another layer of lies. Later that night, Elena sat alone in Clara's car, parked outside the precinct, the engine off, the silence heavy. She thought the worst was over. She thought finding out the truth would set her free. But what if the truth was deeper than she imagined? What if her whole life, every version of it, was shaped by secrets no one was brave enough to tell? She stared at her reflection in the rear-view mirror. Tired eyes. Hollow stare. Locket still glowing softly against her skin. She did not know who she was anymore. But she knew what she was not. She was not someone's pawn. Not anymore. And as the dawn began to break through the clouds, Elena whispered to herself, "I am done being a secret." But even then, she could not help but wonder. If everything you knew was a lie, could you still believe in love, even from the woman who gave you life? Thank you for watching. This was not just a story about betrayal. It was a story about identity. About what happens when the people we trust the most become the very ones who break us. Elena's journey reminds us that sometimes the truth is buried beneath layers of comfort, silence, and fear, and digging it up can cost everything. But here's the thing. Even when your world falls apart, even when the people who are supposed to protect you become the ones you need to escape from, you still have a choice. You can choose to stay broken, or you can choose to rebuild. Elena chose to rebuild, and that is what courage looks like. So, if you have ever questioned your worth, your voice, or your story, remember this. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become after it. If this story moved you, made you think, or reminded you of your own strength, do us a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Your support helps us keep sharing powerful stories like this one. We appreciate you more than you know.